Hi everyone, this is Shannon Gorton and it's craft time in my studio workshop. Today we are going to learn how I make my boho bead charms, and it's pretty cool and it's pretty easy how this comes together. I've watched a couple other artisans make these and I decided I wanted to give it a try as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a few different examples of the types of supplies that I've used to create these. And it's totally whatever you would like to create on your own, how you want your beads to look, etc. So just want to double check to make sure I'm sharing in all the right places. And let's see. Great. Okay. Nope, it says we are doing live now. And I'm also enabling the live chat. So feel free to hop on and feel free to ask any questions you may have as well. So I'm going to share to Shannon's Magical Makings live. So I'm going to wait for a few more people to hop on. Let me know in the comments that you're here. Alrighty, so here we go. I'm gonna get started right now, and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so the Boho Bead charms are a multi-step process to make, and I'm going to start out sharing with you some of the supplies that I have used. Now, some people use different supplies, and what I've chosen to go with are paper straws that I have cut down in assorted sizes, anywhere from 2 to 2 3/4 inches in length. Then I select scraps of fabric. So I have some different fabric here to use that are scraps. Some ribbon. My little hot glue gun, which I do not have plugged in right now. It's not hot yet. It's right here. And I found the mini glue sticks. You can find them from a hardware store, or even the dollar store ones work really well. So I was pleased to find them at the dollar store as well. So I apologize ahead of time. Sometimes I get a bit of a tickle and I'll need to cough or clear my throat, so I'll try to keep that to a minimum if at all possible. The other thing that I found that I like to use were these cute little, sorry about the glare on the plastic there. That's why I have a little washi tape down. I got creative here and blocked the light from above with the washi tape so you guys didn't have that glare. So I also use hand-dyed ribbon for some of the Boho Bead charms. And I found this downstairs to help keep things organized. It's a tackle box. I'm sure my husband will come looking for it eventually, but for now, I like to keep a few of my little charms and some extra special beads that I've purchased. And then these are great too. They don't necessarily fit inside of the length that I have here because they're not really long enough, but you could make smaller ones, or you can actually make the boho beads for other uses. And these are the fashion accessories, the antique copperhead and eye pins. And these are handy because they can, you can feed the bead right on to it in any assortment that you'd like. Some of these are a little bit stubborn, so you just kind of have a little bit of a hit and miss. And then at the end, you can also use one of the bead caps to make it a bit of a better stopper, if you will. And then these are pretty easy to fold, to curl around with your hands, or you can use the little mini needle nose pliers, like the jewelry ones that they have. And you can get those at any craft store and hardware store. Sometimes they carry the smaller ones. Also, some of the larger department stores now, if you're in the US, like Joann's, Michael's, Target, you can check their craft area and see. See, I just made like a little spin right there. Okay, so that was just a little quick example of using the antique copperhead and eye pins to fashion them together pretty quickly. So let's see, we have some different stages of the beads. So I started out with, like I said, the paper straw, and then I went through, and these are all assorted. I covered them first with some white fabric, and I used the hot glue gun. I tore it in strips or cut it, and it's okay for it to be frayed. It makes it look a little bit better when they come together. And these are assorted anywhere from 2 to 2 3/4 inches in length as well. And so I've taken some fabric and some ribbon and wrapped it around the straw, or the I like the paper. I don't want to use plastic because the glue gets hot and I don't want it to melt down. So you have to be careful. Probably these you don't want to get wet because the paper will soften. The paper straw will soften. So just like if you need to clean them up, I would recommend using a baby wipe so it doesn't like penetrate all the way through to the paper straw. So you can, altering the wrapping of the fabric and the ribbon enhances the decoration. And I'll show you, this is the first one that I made, and I used really thin copper wire. You can see it's pretty thin. And it's real sloppy. Like I said, this is my first one that I made, and had a little bit of a tricky time getting the glue, and I didn't use the bead caps, but I put some gems on there. Pretty much you can get everything to stick with the hot glue. Just have to be careful because it is hot and it'll get your fingers. And here's some other ones that don't have the charms on them yet, but they're really fun to make. I think it goes this way. Oops, okay. So, and I use this journal every day, so I thought it would be cool to have my little charms, my Boho Bead charms on my journal. It goes everywhere I go. All right. So I'll put this aside over here. All right, so I like to keep my beads in a bowl. It's easy to grab them, and I also like to use these containers. The mushrooms come in these containers from the supermarket, and I wash them out because they're great for my little crafty goodies. I'll keep that together. And also, in addition to the ribbon, the embroidery floss, I get this. I like Michael's or Joann's when it's on sale, and I just love all the rich colors. And it's a real nice addition to wrap it around in the finishing stages, to pick different colors to go on with the fabric that complement it and contrast as well. And I picked up some 20 gauge wire from Michael's when it was on sale, and I like this one. It's heavy duty, it's thicker, it doesn't roll as easily with your fingers, so you definitely should have a little pair of the needle nose pliers. And I like these because they're really small and they can wrap around very easily because my hands are small. And then the bead caps go on the ends to help the beads stay a little more secure and spaced, as you can see here. That's what those are for. And again, most of the stuff was picked up at our Michael's with some coupons. Okay, so there's the wire, and I have one that's open I'll be using for today. And then I picked this up, I found it at half price, and this is 6 yards of this chain. And what's really cool is that with the small needle nose pliers, you can open the links up as many as you need in the length to build your bead charms. So it's a little time consuming, it takes a little bit of time, but they turn out so pretty. And they, if you have a crafty friend, they make great gifts. And what's really neat about them is that no two are alike. In here, I love this cute little container. It's from a tree. I keep some of the charms that I'm going to use to make the beads. So, all right, I'm gonna plug in the hot glue gun so we can start getting warmed up, and it should be pretty quick. I use an old pie tin get a very old towel. It's in my craft area. Oh yeah, these are really cute little star charms. I fell in love with these when I saw those. And then some random little charms. Be brave, be strong, be the hero in your own story, live your dream. So those are going to be real cute on the Boho Bead charms as well. Okay, so we've got that going. Have some extra glue, and start with some light colored fabric. Okay. Just cut little strips. You can fray them so they're easier to wrap around. And you can do them different lengths. I like this one here. I can use the smaller one for like a ribbon type piece. And then I'm going to use some of the purple. I like the purple. A lot of the craft places and fabric stores nowadays carry lots of scraps that you can pick up for next to nothing. A lot of groups on Facebook also do swaps and like little fairy wishes, etc. So you can go in and you can pick up some inexpensive fabric swaps or fabric scraps from the fabric store, and you can also share your scraps with other artisans and crafters for your journals and for making the boho beads. And they don't have to be very long. They can be different lengths and widths. Just wrap it around a couple of times. I'm going to go ahead and use the ones that I've covered with the plain white fabric, and you can use old pillowcases, Goodwill, and like all the different thrift stores that are around town. You can check those for some great deals. We went looking for Halloween costume items, and there were so many like different skirts and scarves. It was really amazing how creative you can get when you're deciding to do some crafting. So what I do is I just randomly put the glue on here, and I do a little bit at a time because it does tend to dry quickly. I pat it down because it's going to have to stick while it's still hot. And then I wrap it. And the glue is pretty warm, so we'll help it along here. Excuse me, sorry about that. I'll tack another one on here. What I like to do is cut your strips, and you can also put it in the wash, so it helps the edges to fray after you've cut it, but or hand wash it as well, because you don't want it to shrink down a lot because then you'll have itty bitty scraps. Okay, so they definitely don't have to be perfectly covered. Let's do another one here, some glue. And it's okay if the fabric is inside out, it's the wrong way, because you're going to have many different layers on top of it, and they're going to be different with each one. Okay. Put that string in there so it sticks out, gives it a little more character, if you will. Okay, so I have a couple of these, excuse me, and let's do a little bit more glue right there. There we go. Press that down so it stays nice. And we want this to fray, so we're gonna help it along a little bit. Make it look a little bit more boho. Okay. And let's see, how about, so that's great, blue fabric here. Some of the other fabric that people like to use is the sari fabric. And it's kind of silk and satins, and it has sequins, etc. There's so many options that you can do with these beads. It's pretty amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this blue, and I've cut it into a thin strip. And I'm going to taper it down as I go and not wrap it all the way around. Needed a glue stick here. I leave some space in between. Then I'm going to take another one, excuse me, and I'm going to put it in the opposite direction so it crisscrosses like that. Put some right there. Put that around here. Now put a little bit of glue so it meets in the middle. Crosses over each other. There we go. Stick it. And just a little bit more glue here so it stays down really well. The ends are okay to come up a little bit. Go. This one I'll use some of the purple, and I'll cut this down a little bit more. So you just put this fabric on randomly so that the other fabric from underneath shows through. Then you take the other one, you wrap it the opposite direction so it crisscrosses over. Let's go this way. Go. I'll just pull off a little extra glue strings. They come off pretty easily. And I like leaving a little bit of the frayed and the ends loose, if you will, so that they will start fraying, because it makes it look a little more old-fashioned, if you will. Covered up that white fabric with another little piece of this one. Flat string. Right there. That one. Okay, so we have two more beads for the next stage. I think I would like to use some of this one here. And some of the yellow. When I did the seam binding, when I dyed it, I used different inks, and I used alcohol inks and watercolor inks and oxide inks, and it was over here. And it was a lot of fun to experiment with the many different colors. That was a fun project as well. So the same thing, you just so sorry. You can even, if you want it thinner, you can take it and you can cut it down the middle and separate it out even more so that it's not so thick. I'll show you that way too. Cut one of these pieces. Real bouncy when they're crinkled. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start right over here. It's super hot. I don't want to get too much on there. There we go. And what you can do is you can heat up what's already there with the tip of the glue gun, which is fun too. And I like how this is kind of frayed out over here. Smush that down, peel that away. Because what you're going to do is you're going to use the other colors of the embroidery floss, and then that way you have the different colors and the different layers as well. Okay. And I like how that was a little bit thinner, so if you want, you can use the whole piece, or you can, that glue is really friendly today. Okay. Because this will fray out nicely as well. I like that it's crinkled, adds character. I really enjoy crafting. It's so enjoyable. Okay. So I like how this has come together. Clear out the extra glue here. Okay. And for this one, I'll use the yellow. And I like, this is really cute. It has a little character to it. So get here. And this one will be really pretty with the yellow. Okay. can use lace as well. That'd be real pretty. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to choose my gems, and I keep my gems color organized. So I have these little, this is another tackle box that was used for fishing lures that I commandeered for my crafting needs. Okay, so just go through and pick some random colors, and I like to use the smaller ones. These don't really pick up the glare. They're a little messy to make, but they're so much fun, and they're so pretty. These are a little on the smallish side. They should work nicely. I'll go in with some of the, let's see, go with the orange, the red ones. Those will really pop. And a couple of the pink ones. And just look and see where you think they might look nice. I'll set that on the plastic. Where you I think it would look nice. Just pop it on, press it down. And just kind of do it randomly, excuse me, on the bead. Do a pink one on this side because this is the blue and the orange. Okay, so we've got 3 here. Let's do another one right about there. My glue gun is well loved. Excuse me, I love my glue gun. Many hours of crafting together. Okay. Let's see. Looks great. Okay, we'll do a few on this one. And let's do a blue one because that was too close to the combination there. There we go. Perfect. This one here. Little strings of glue. And then I'll do one over here. Break that up a little bit. Do a blue one. That's not the blue. Try this one again. Grab the wrong color. This is the blue one. There we go. A couple of blues on this one. I like that. Getting off the extra glue. And let's do a pink one right about here to break up this yellow. I'm gonna tone that down a little bit. There we go. Looks great. Okay. Okay, let's quick drink. I have tea and water. And water is my go-to when my throat gets dry. Alrighty. Next I want to do the embroidery floss. So get the embroidery floss. These are shaping up pretty cute. I have a few different colors. I love colors. And I like the pink. I think pink. Like this one for the pink. Yep. And purple. Should I go purple? I'm gonna go with the red. Make it pop. Okay. And then I just pull out a little bit, snip it off. And then I separate it so that I can go both directions. I'm gonna give a really big shout out to my sister, Michelle. She makes super awesome fabric bags, zipper fabric bags that I love to store a lot of my supplies in. And she's totally amazing. She's an awesome quilter as well. Look at this cute bag. Isn't that just the cutest? And she lines them inside. Just love it. She's so creative and so inspiring with what she does. So I just take and I think this is 6, so I just separate it out. And then the way I apply it is I just kind of tuck it under so you don't see the hot glue, but it's okay if it's frayed. And then you can pop that extra ribbon on top of it like that. And then just wind it around. You can wiggle it so it's under if you would like the loose ends of the ribbon. And that was by design to leave the ribbon loose so that the thread could get, or the floss could get tucked under to finish them. Because you can always trim it down if it's a little too long. And it's still, the ribbon is still long enough to where it still stands out. And it's loose and looks cute. So let's do this one here. Right there. And feed it under this piece here. Perhaps it will stick. Let's just do it on top and then push it over. Yeah. Okay. Get that a little bit more right there. It's giving me a bit of a hard time. Hold on. I had some music playing in the background, but I don't want to get dinged from YouTube because it's copyrighted, right? Keep it on the up and up. And just wrap that around so it's crisscross on the other one. Find a spot so you can tuck it under. There. Okay, that's great. And the glue is still warm, so it's sticking to my finger. Gotten used to it, so it's not too bad. It's had a little bit of time to cool off. Okay, this crisscross right there. And let's see. There is a bit of a delay, so if you have any comments, you can let me know. Okay, here we go. This one I'm going to do over. Until I come down here and I'll wiggle it in between. And set it with just a little dot of glue. There we go. And then put this one in. I'm going to set it with some glue. Let's do this under the yellow one. There we go. And just roll it and wrap it. There. Could trim this one off just a little bit. Leave those loose ends a little bit frayed. Okay. So there we go. We've got two ready to rumble. And that means we're ready to roll with the next step. So let's move over here. And we have finished with the glue gun, so I'm going to unplug it so that it has a chance to cool off and move aside. And the tools that I use next are going to be the wire cutters and the needle nose pliers. And for the cutters, I use a little bit heavier duty of the needle nose. These are from downstairs. My husband's toolbox. He said it was okay. That I could absolutely use these for my crafting. So I'll leave these here so you can see the different samples, or the stages rather. The reverse stages. I'll just do two. And then, let's see, I started out with the paper straws, right? And some ribbon and the fabric scraps. So I kind of eyeball how much of the wire I'm going to need, and I keep in mind that I'm going to be rolling it down at the bottom. This is a better example. I'm going to be rolling it down at the bottom. I'm going to do a slight curl. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if it'll focus. A slight curl on that so that it keeps the beads in place. Just kind of eyeball it. And this one I think I'll probably end up using about that much. I've got that bit, and then a little bit less on the other one. Okay. Get out a few of the bead caps on my little bucket of beads. Get those ready. And then take this and then you feed it through to the end. Now it does seem kind of long, but you're going to add your beads on. So you need to have room for your beads depending upon how many of the beads you would like to put on each of your boho bead charms. You can use plastic beads, you can use clay beads, you can use glass beads. There's so many different beads out there. Oh my gosh, I went shopping and I was like, oh, look at all those beads. And keep in mind, you have different gauges of wire. Some beads will fit and some beads won't, depending upon your wire gauge. And that was unfortunate. I found really cool beads, got them home, and then my wire was a little too thick. So I was a little bummed up by that. And you just kind of choose the kind of beads that you want to use based on your own personal preference and how many you want on there. Like I said, some of them will fit and some of them won't. And everybody has different taste. You know, if you make it how you think you would like it. And let's do, oops. Hopefully this one will fit because this is really cute. It's a little too small for the bead cap. And so the bead caps, that's another thing. The bead caps come in different sizes as well. And let's go with this one. Let's see if this one will work. Yeah, see, some of them will fit in and some of them won't. I'll try that one. Let's do this so it's straight and see what happens. And people can choose to put a bead cap at either end of the bead to make it look a little bit fancier. So then I take those little tiny pliers Sorry, and I hold this end and I just wrap it around. And I keep it straightened out as how I want it to be, flattened out. Do it that way as well if you don't want to wind it around the barrel of your, those pliers. That way it keeps it flat. Okay, so that can be your top or your bottom. You can add charms to it or not. I'll make sure this one's pretty snug. Put the bead cap on this one. And roll it around. There's more of that hot glue. And then crimp it so it's flat. Nice and snug. So there's one of the beads without the charms. Then you do the same thing with the other one. Straighten it out. It's easier to work with. So I stream Amazon Prime and I like Ludovico Einaudi classical music. It's very calming and inspiring to me. Hopefully I don't get dinged from YouTube. I do not own the copyright to the music in the background. It's my Amazon Prime subscription. And I should tell Echo to turn down the music. See, because I don't want to get myself in trouble. I love these. These are so pretty. Echo, turn down the music. Just to keep it safe. Okay. Oh, that's a double. Well, that's pretty cool. Didn't realize that. See how this one looks. That's a fun one. How's the bead cap work on that one? It's a little too big. Let's see. So it's a little wiggly until you get one end done, and that's the trick. This one's gonna work. It's a little kinked up right here. Let's see. I like this one. It's pretty. I've got to straighten the wire out for it to work. nicely in there. And that one's these beads are a little on the smaller side. Hey, another double. That's 2 for 2. Yeah, they're being funky. Like a little potluck on my beads. That's pretty. That's really big. Put that one. That's nice. I like that. It's a nice topper. Okay. Get nice and snug. Okay, so we have 2 of the boho beads, and they're ready for the charms to make them boho bead charms. I'm gonna tighten this one up just a little bit more. There we go. That's better. Okay. Beads over here. So next I have my chain, and I'm gonna take a few of the links off, and I find the opening, and I carefully open the link. By stretching it open. And then, so I've taken off a few links. I'll put it on the bottom of the bead, boho bead that I made. Then I'm gonna squeeze it together, hopefully without too much difficulty. There you go. So you've got your chain. I'm going to take another few links and do the same thing, because I like to have more than just one strand of charms and beads. Makes them whimsical and fun. Received a lot of compliments on these. Some are a little bit tougher than others, so you just have to be a little patient, and if it doesn't work, then you can just try another one. It's a bit of a challenge, this one. There we go. You can choose whichever link that you want to add it to. This, it sprouts off the main one. Think of it as like a branch of the tree, if you will. So I've got a A little one over here and a longer one. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Goodness. I think it's time for my tea. Okay, so find the open part of the link. Insert the needle nose pliers and separate it out. There we go. Some people like to chit chat while they craft. And some folks say nobody wants to hear your chit chat, they just want to see you crafting and your techniques. And so I added it and extended it on there. See? What I can do is I can open it and loop it using this one. And that's what I'll do. I'll open it up. See there? I was very clever in that I kind of goofed it, but it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal because I can just open it up, choose where I want it to link up to another piece, and shorten it up. I'll show you. It gives me more options to what I'm going to add. These are great for gifts, or if you make journals or different crafts, you can add these on as embellishments. The charms, the beaded charms, Boho Bead charms, and you can give them away as gifts to people who make journals and traveler notebooks, etc. Great little embellishments. So see, now I've got a little loop and the extension. So I've given myself lots of room to add on like more beads and charms. And this one, you know, you build these up, and some of these are selling at craft fairs and whatnot on Etsy shops and other people's websites. The really extravagant ones are selling for like $9.50 and up, depending upon, because they're a little bit time consuming. I see this is loose, so I want to definitely tighten this up. So just get your needles, pliers, and swing it around again. I'll make sure that we keep it straight. And if you want, you can put some of that hot glue, and it'll really secure it nicely, which I will do after I finish this. So I poured out a bunch of little charms that I like. Look at this one. It's like a little bell, little birdcage bell. There's some owls, and there's a Statue of Liberty. And I like these. These are really cool because they just clip right onto your chain. So you can clip the chair right already onto the loop right here. Maybe my fingers are working. Goodness. There we go. Just a little stuck in transit. This one came from across the big ocean. On the other side of the pond, if you will. Okay. I've got that on one of my little loops. Like this one with the little birds. Great key. And the umbrella. This one always reminds me of Mary Poppins. Okay, so there you go. Listen, I just love that. The little tinkling of the charms. That sounds lovely. So there you go. There's the Boho Bead charms. Thanks for stopping by today. I know it was a bit of a long video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and stop back by my channel. Please subscribe, like, follow, and share me on my social media platforms as well. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Ta-ta.